I think I saw Fast and the Furious too early in life because I didn't have any money when I saw it, but I immediately wanted to do it. So like I took the shitty car I had and was like, can I put an air intake on this? You know what I mean? Like it was, so from that point on, I think it was like high school until now, I've only owned Mustangs, and I've just done whatever I can learn from YouTube, right? Like, oh, how to do air intake, or how to do brake caliper paints, or how to do just real basic stuff.
The reason I want to film the cheaper builds is because when I was in high school, I was huge into cars, didn't know anything about them. I wanted to be able to build something, but I thought it was just impossible. I always thought it was going to cost some absurd amount of money. Started researching stuff, I realized that you can actually put something together. I obviously grew up before YouTube was a big thing, so I didn't exactly have those resources.
Yeah.
So if I could show somebody, here's an actual budget build, and I don't mean build some piece of shit that, goes fast but is just a garbage can, nor do I mean put together some absurdly expensive car. I mean have yourself an actual nice car that's relatively fast, for under well under 10 grand.
If it's all the same to you, dude, I would love to maybe check out what you got right now. I don't care where it is in the build progress. I don't care how much you've spent on it so far. It's free for us to continue to build that build, right? Like you were going to do that anyway. I got the car stuff. I wanted to film that anyway. We may as well just take the project that you already have and just finish it, and let's see how it looks on camera.
This is it. What we have here is a 1966 Pontiac Le Mans. This is the project we were talking about, the one that I started trying to, build something that was a little more budget conscious. Some of these older top tier muscle cars, when people do resto mods, which means put in new suspension, new engines, all new amenities, the finished product can easily go for $80,000 at Barrett Jackson, sometimes even more than that. And if you were to go to a shop to have them build it for you, you're looking at maybe even a six-figure build. I wanted to try and prove that you could do this for a much more rational amount of money.
Rational.
So that being said, what I did was I actually picked up a donor car, which is this thing right here. It's a 1999 Chevrolet Camaro, and it has LS1 and the transmission I needed. And it was a really good deal because it had been in a front-end collision, but everything was fine on the engine and everything else that I needed. So these two were going to basically be mated together. So without further ado, let's take a look at the progress that I've done so far.
Sorry, I'm not helping you.
Basically, I know the car doesn't look like a whole lot because, well, it doesn't have a front end on it or core support or anything. It looks like a junkyard car, but I promise you it isn't. So the interior of this car is actually, it looks a lot worse than it is. It's actually fairly decent. Obviously it needs a carpet. You can see the floors, they got some surface rust on there, but they're actually really, really solid. It's not going to need any patch panels or anything like that, just restoration. This is what I was talking about when it came to the transmission tunnel, how it had to be widened. You can see I haven't taken any time grinding off the welds, simply because I don't see any point in that. Again, this is a bit of a budget build. It's a $40,000 car, not an $80,000 car, so no one's ever going to see it. The point is strength here and making sure we can clear the transmission. And it all went together really, really well. It took a while, but it went together really, really well. So far, I've done pretty much everything myself. A couple years ago, a friend of mine from work, he was interested in kind of learning more about cars, and he helped me do some of the crappier work of just grinding off old rust and stuff like that. So hats off to him. He helped me where he did, but in terms of designing, figuring everything out, measuring, cutting, all that other stuff, it's been all me so far, which is why it's taken about 3 years. I've flipped a couple other cars in that time, so it's not 100% on this project, but I'm kind of committed to really getting back on this pretty hard. So after I finish the front end, next thing to get this thing to be able to move under its own power really is finishing the rear end. So with these LS motors, they actually require a decent fuel pump. You can't just do the mechanical, 6 PSI pumps that came with these cars. So I went with a in-tank unit, brand new gas tank that I'm going to put up. Drop the old gas tank. And I found that the trunk pan was basically shot in this car. There was a section of it that was pretty much cornflakes. What that means is it's so rusty when you touch it, it literally looks like cornflakes. So I ended up having to replace that, cut it out, put it in a new one. I can show you that when I open the trunk. I tried to keep as much original metal as I possibly could, so you can definitely see some of the original rust scarring. This is the new section of the trunk pan, so that's all new. Had to cut that out, weld it in, and obviously I painted it black. Some of you purists will probably be upset with me for not going with the original spatter paint. I don't care. That's not the point here. The point is to have a nice car, not an original car. As for the rear end, pretty sure you're wondering where the hell it is.
Yeah, well, clearly you need 2 sets of wheels in order to get this thing to roll.
That's what they tell me. The other one is in the garage. I actually just painted it, so I'll show you that in just a second.
Oh no.